Welcome. This is our first ever Gathered Here hosted webinar. So excited to have you all here today. We've had over 300 people register, which is amazing. And I have no doubt that this will be the first of many webinars that we do in the future. Today's webinar is about maximising bequest revenue from existing supporters. And my hope is that by the end of this session that you'll be armed with lots of really quick and easy ways to maximise your bequest revenue with the help of the power of online wills. And you'll be able to get even more value from your Gathered Here subscription, whether you're on a basic or the premium tier. So for those of you who haven't signed up yet, that's totally fine. There will be lots of useful stuff in here for you as well. And you'll also get a bit of a behind the scenes look at how online wills work. But I will quickly let you know that you can sign up for a basic Gathered Here membership. It's completely free. And there really isn't any financial barrier stopping you from offering what we're going to be talking about today and running these activities to your supporters. So we'll give you some details at the end of the session about how you can sign up for it to be a basic partner. So today's really all about focusing on how we can get your existing supporters to become gift in will donors as well as everyday donors. And so part of the reason that we're doing this is because all of our partners, as I said before, whether you're basic or premium, can participate in this. And we really want the tips that you get today to be accessible and within reach for everybody. Especially, I know having spoken to a lot of partners in the last few months, I know things are pretty tough at the moment. So, you really can, utilize some of these strategies on a limited budget and limited resources as well. And also it's not too late to do some kind of activity in September. So for our New Zealand partners, you've got Wills Month in September. In Australia, it's included Charity Week. So it's, even though it's only a couple of weeks away, it's not too late to do something. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll feel empowered to get something happening for those months. Also, I want to mention this webinar is probably going to go closer to the hour. So I know that I think the original time was for half an hour. So if you do need to leave earlier, that's absolutely fine. And we'll be sending a recording of the webinar to all of the registrants afterwards, so you can catch up later on in your own time. All right, so the plan for today, I'm going to do a really quick introduction to the Partner Success team and some of our key milestones. Then we'll be looking at supporter outreach, and after that, some other touchpoint opportunities, we call them. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some people watching today that were at the F&P webinar that we did last week. So there's definitely going to be some overlapping content, but we're also going to be looking more closely specifically at the Gathered Here platform and the technology and tools, and hopefully there's some things in there that you didn't even know you had access to that will give you even more value from your membership. So we're also going to be covering off on some case studies, and then at the end, hopefully we've got a bit of time for some questions. Adam is standing by, watching the Q&A chat to answer any questions that you might have as we go. So feel free to pop the questions in the Q&A box. And yeah, he'll try and answer as many as we go, and then any that he can't get to, we can discuss at the end. Okay, so first things first, I know there's been a few changes to the Partner Success team lately, so I thought I would just introduce you to our current Partner Success team. So yes, I'm Lucy. I've been with Gathered Here since 2021, since the start of, the online will platform being launched. And yes, I'm sure you've heard many times before, I've spent the majority of my career as a fundraiser sitting in your seats. So then we also have Serena, who is our partner success manager. So no doubt she'll be very familiar to a lot of you. And she's been with us doing a fantastic job since 2022. And finally, we have just welcomed our brand new head of partner success. So Michael Tagliaferri, who has an amazing track record of helping organisations use technology to grow. So you'll be seeing a lot more of him as well as time goes on. And it's really important to us that you're familiar with who your partner success manager is and that you feel comfortable reaching out. Our job is literally to make sure that you have great success with Gathered Here. And we take our jobs very seriously, and we always love being contacted by our partners, no matter what the questions are. We're here to help. So please don't ever hesitate in contacting us. So as for Gathered Here, I'm sure you're very well familiar now, but with us by now. So I won't do the usual spiel, but it's really wonderful to see how much we've grown over the last 3 or 4 years since we launched the online wills platform. We've now had 62,000 plus people write wills with us. And we've had thousands of very happy users with 5-star reviews, which we love. And then on the partner side of things, we now have 643 NFP partners as of today, and that's growing every week across both Australia and New Zealand, and with an estimated $882 million worth of future income pledged to hundreds of amazing causes, from the charity, education, sporting clubs, memberships, all sorts of different organisations of all shapes and sizes. Which is absolutely amazing. All right, so that's probably enough about us. Let's get into the topic. So when we're looking at getting gifts from people, there's 2 key audiences that we look at. So we've got our existing supporters, and then we have our new or unknown supporters. So existing supporters, which is where Gifts and Wills fundraising has traditionally been focused, they're the people that are already known to you and to your organisation. So they may have attended an event or signed up to a newsletter or made donations. So this demographic of supporters is highly engaged usually. And if you can get them to write a will, they're very likely to go on to pledge a gift as well. So we find that around half of charity supporters will make a bequest if they write a will, compared to about 12 to 15% of unknown supporters. So the challenge that organisations and charities and not-for-profits have is actually not getting them to leave the gift. It's actually getting them to write the will in the first place. And, this is very common across the whole of society. A lot of people think that they don't need a will. They don't own a house. They don't have children. They're not old enough to need a will. And there's barriers around, how do I do it? I don't want to pay a lawyer. I don't know what to do. Too hard. But that's all in the past now, because now they have access to online wills like ours. So, being able to proactively go out to your audiences and offer them this very useful tool of a free online will is just such a great thing. And I think the fact that, they're already supporting you in some way, and are likely to already trust your organisation. So the chances are they're going to be extremely receptive to being to leaving a gift, basically. So in comparison to that, but we just need to be able to encourage them to actually write the will in the first place. That's the more challenging part. Getting them to leave a gift is much easier, actually, using the platform. So in comparison, when we talk about unknown or new supporters, that's the audience that we call them Gathered Here users. They're the people that are the general public that are coming to Gather Here to write a will, possibly without the intention of leaving a gift. They've already over that hurdle of writing the will, So when we look at that audience, the challenge is to get them to pledge a gift. So it's kind of the opposite to what your existing supporters have, where the challenge is getting them to write the will in the first place. So thankfully, reaching out to your supporters, offering them an online will is really easy. It can be done pretty much for free or very low cost. And you can do it whether you're a basic or a premium member of Gathered Here. So email is your best friend when it comes to generating requests from existing supporters. So there's a few reasons for that. So firstly, it's free or very low cost, like I said, and it requires a minimal time investment. This isn't a campaign that you're going to have to spend weeks and months planning for, developing. It really is possible to lock in the core components in just a few hours with our support. Secondly, email is the most efficient and effective way to reach a large audience quickly. So as I mentioned before, the challenge with your supporters is around the will writing, not the gift pledging. So you want to be going out to as large a group as possible when you're doing an email. So it is a fantastic vehicle to do that. And it also allows, for your supporters to have a seamless user experience. So, and when I say that, I mean, any emails that you're sending out to your supporters offering them a free online will should link directly to your custom landing page, which I'll get to in a second. So supporters then can be directed straight from the email to the landing page, and hopefully act immediately and write a will. So there's no friction and it's just a really smooth, simple journey for them. So reaching out via email also allows for audience segmentation. So please know that, segmenting, the audience in order to offer them a free online will is not a requirement. And actually most, if not, many of our partners choose to do like a one size fits all communication. That's absolutely fine. But if you do choose to segment your audience, you can really tailor your messaging and the imagery and content to suit the various demographics. And finally, reaching out via email also gives you the power to track and analyze results so that you can see what's worked, what hasn't worked, and use these learnings when you're planning for your next, future activities. So emails are the most effective when the messaging focuses primarily on online wills and the importance of having a will. But then it also gives the option for the person to leave a gift to the charity if they wish, but also making it clear that it's not a requirement and they can take up the offer of a free online will either way, even if they decide not to leave a gift. It can also be quite tempting to add information about other ways of giving in the mass communications like this, but really can dilute the message. So it's really important to sort of link in with that education piece around, why it's important to have a will. It's so that anyone that gets that email doesn't automatically go, oh, I don't need a will, and I'm just going to delete that. We want people to know that everyone over the age of 18 should have a will. So it doesn't matter how old they are or how much they own or how much they don't own or if they've got children or not. Everyone's got, should be planning for that stage, and the more we can normalize it in society, the less stigmatized it will be, about thinking about death. And so we want to make that really clear that everyone should have a will. And then we want to follow that up with, hey, guess what? Here's a free online will that you can access right now. It takes 10 minutes to do. And there's an option to leave a gift to our cause as well. So the final thing I'll just mention here is that email outreach is only going to be effective if you're contacting, a lot of people, and at least twice, ideally 3 times over, a period of a few weeks. This is really a numbers game as well as a timing game. You want to catch people just at that right moment when they've got a spare half an hour, even though it only takes 10 minutes, but in their brain, they've got a bit of time, they're in the mood to write a will. and they just do it then and there. That's ideal. So, and then the other thing is about, going out to this big audience, and then, and you can do that, as I said before, as a one size fits all, or segment the messaging and going out to them multiple times. Because I think we're all guilty of, getting an email and saying, oh yeah, that's great, I'll do that, and then sort of forgetting about it pretty quickly. So a lot of people just need a little bit of a reminder or two to get them to act. So here is the simple 4-step process to creating an email series. And again, I'll mention this is totally doable for September if anyone's keen to get involved in that. So you just need to customize your landing page and your Wills platform. Choose the audience of whom you're going to be sending the emails to, drafting the emails, hopefully using our content recommendations. And then once the emails are uploaded to the whatever email platform you use, MailChimp or whatever you use, and hopefully you've flicked them over to your partner success manager to have a quick look at. You just hit send and wait for the gifts to roll in. But I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail about each of these steps now. So firstly, I mentioned customizing your landing page. So this is completely free and highly effective, and can be done in less than 10 minutes. So previously, only our premium partners were able to access the landing page, and our basic partners were only able to access the branded Wills platform. But we did some analysis and we found that there was a 30% increase in conversions when partners directed supporters to the landing page first. So we've since offered that opportunity for a branded landing page to our basic partners as well. And I strongly encourage any of you who aren't using your landing pages at the moment to log into the dashboard and set it up. Very worthwhile. So you'll see in the dashboard, and we can have a look at some examples here, that you get to choose your brand color across the top, obviously logos, images, customized copy, and that really communicates the work of what you do and where the money will be going in the future. But in terms of the gathered here specific information on the landing page, there is a really comprehensive list of FAQs at the end of this landing page. It scrolls down a bit, and that's just giving people information and again education about what's involved in the online will writing process, who gathered here are, some testimonials from some gathered here users. And this is the sole purpose of building up trust, because your supporters may not have even known that an online will was an option. They probably haven't heard of gathered here before, and they're potentially about to be giving us some really sensitive information. So we want to make them feel comfortable enough so that they hopefully decide to take the next step, which is actually writing their will. And this is what the actual branded wills platform looks like. So this is where your supporters will actually start entering their information and writing a will. So they get to the wills platform by clicking on one of the many buttons on the landing page. These ones here, write my will for free. They click through there and then they end up on the wills platform. And again, you have complete control over the look and feel of this page, and you can change the banner color, pictures, logos, and some of the text fields as well. And I guess one of the biggest differences between your branded page and the gathered here general page is that when your supporters get to the estate section of the will writing journey, so where they're asked asked to distribute their estate between living beneficiaries and or causes that they care about, your organisation will be pinned to the top of the page, as you can see in this UNICEF example. So it really could not be easier for your supporters to leave a gift. The box is even pre-ticked, and for the majority of people, of charity supporters, it's a no-brainer to leave a gift because your organisation has given them the access to this free and very useful tool. And at the end of the day, they're never going to feel the financial pinch of leaving a gift in their will during their lifetime. That's why we see, such a high conversion of charity supporters leaving gifts in their wills. And this is, and just through this process, this is how so many of our partners have had such great success when offering free online wills to their supporters. So once you have your landing page and your wills platform looking beautiful, the next thing to do is to choose your audience. So generally we recommend contacting as many supporters as possible, like I said before. So technically you can skip this step if you want to just email everybody with the same message. But if you want to test this out on a smaller subset of supporters, that's also doable. So some of the common segments that organisations like to target, little drink, are regular givers, newsletter subscribers, the over 50s, lapsed donors and lapsing donors, staff, volunteers and event attendees. And I guess just at this point, I just want to make a special mention to offering a free online will to staff. So we recommend doing this to all of our partners because, and straight off the bat, before you even go out to your general supporters, it's just a great way. I mean, I dare say a lot of your team won't have a will when they should. So it's just a really great thing to have, a staff benefit. But also it's just a really good way to engage them in gifts in wills because, I know that it's sometimes gifts in wills teams and programs can sort of sit off to the side a little bit from other, everyday giving activities. So hopefully if you're offering a free online will, some of your team members might decide to write a will. Doesn't really matter whether they decide. I mean, amazing if they decide to leave a gift, but that's not really the purpose. So the purpose is trying to engage them in gifts in wills so that they become advocates for gifts in wills. So you can really try and get the rest of the organisation on board with this very, very important fundraising activity. So if you have the capacity, you can send, emails to multiple groups, tailoring the messaging, tracking the results, or as I said before, you can just keep it simple and just do a one size fits all. The great thing about this is that you can create a program that works for your organisation, and that might be completely different to what others are doing. That's absolutely fine. It's, you've got to think about what resources you've got, your communications calendar, how much time you've got. This can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. And you know what, your supporters better than anyone. So you've got to do what's right for your organisation. And so, an email blast to every person with an email address might be great for an organisation who has quite a established gift in will program where their supporters have heard about gifts in wills before. It's not a foreign concept. Or you might decide that you want to just do a personal email from the relationship manager to the gift in will pipeline, letting them know that you're partnering with an online will platform and this is available to them now, and anything in between. So your landing page sorted, your wills platform sorted, you know who you're going out to. The next step is drafting your emails. So we recommend sending ideally three emails over a 2 to 3 week period, probably spacing them out by a week each. We always recommend emailing on a Monday. It seems to be a busy time for people writing wills Monday nights. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. Mondays are a good day. And then, following up a week later on the following Monday and the week after that. Having said that, you really, some partners have really spaced out the follow-up emails. Some have done them after a few days. it's pretty flexible, to be honest, how you do it. But again, it's more about what your supporters are used to and how they're used to being communicated with. So I know it probably sounds a little bit daunting sending out, creating and drafting 3 emails. So the good news is that we have a fabulous kit that our fantastic content creator, Nicola, has created for us. So it's basically like a kit, and it's specifically for Include a Charity Week and Wills Month. It's got, everything you need from your content recommendations for emails, also for some other channels as well, such as organic media, social media posts and whatnot. And you can scan that code there and you'll be able to get it straight away. Otherwise, we can provide it to you afterwards as well. And, again, if you ever want an extra pair of eyes to look at your drafts, and we really like drafts, we love drafts, please send it through to your partner success manager. I always say this, sometimes little tweaks can make a big difference to performance. And also just having someone checking the links are correct. You'd be surprised how many times emails go out with the incorrect links on them and things like that. So yes, always please send drafts through to us. So yes, speaking of links, a super important element of all this is, and this will also be covered in the resources kit, but making sure you link your custom landing page in the banner and through the call to action buttons. So your custom landing page, your unique URL, you will have been sent. If you're already in existing partners, you'll have all that in the dashboard. But sometimes we see partners linking an email call to action button to their gift and will webpage, which is just kind of creating an additional step for your supporters. We just really want to make it as quick and easy and as seamless as possible. So wherever possible, sending them straight to your landing page. So in terms of timing, the 2 most popular times that we see charities running like major email campaigns and activities is in the new year and in September. Obviously I mentioned before, Include a Charity Week in Australia and Wills Month in New Zealand. So early in the new year is kind of that period between mid-Jan to mid-Feb. In September, they do well those times of the year, because in January, people are thinking about life admin, New Year's resolutions, ticking some things off their to-do list. And they're, usually on holidays still and have a bit more time. And then plus it's usually quite quiet in comms calendars in those earlier months of the year. And then September is a good time as well, because it's kind of smack bang between your end of financial year appeal and your end of year Christmas appeal. But having said that, you can really run an online will or a gift in will campaign any time of the year. It's never the wrong or a bad time to ask people to write a will and consider leaving a gift. And we have lots of partners that do stuff outside of those key periods. The more important consideration is actually around making sure that, if you're going to do 2 or 3 emails, that it has that campaign, that email campaign has its own dedicated space, so that there's not any other major fundraising activities happening over that short period of time. That's probably the more important thing to consider above, doing it, a certain time of the year. It's just finding that space in your comms calendar, especially if you're going out to a large group of if you're going out to all of your supporters, you want to make sure it's got its own space. So next we're going to take a look at other activities that you could do outside of this major kind of email activity. And that's where we're talking about these, we call them touchpoint opportunities. So they're organic opportunities to mention an online will to your existing supporter base or anyone interacting with your organisations. And they allow NFPs to create an always-on gifts in will activity or promotion, which is still low cost, low effort, and adds value to your supporters. So we're just going to have a look at some examples. So obviously, the first thing you should do is make sure that you've got a listing on your website with a link to your landing page. So lots of like most charities, even if they don't have a really established gift and will program, most charities will have a page with information about bequests. And it could be recommended wording or advice to speak with a solicitor. And you should absolutely keep that on there. I always say this as well, an online will is another option for your supporters to consider. That there's always going to be people that need solicitor drafted wills, always. They might have a comprehensive estate. There's a whole high net worth individuals are likely to have a fancy will, as I call it. It's always going to be the need for that. But you want to just make sure that other people that are, where a simple will is perfectly adequate to their needs, which is probably most of the population, that they know that option is there for them as well. So yeah, just including information about online wills and a link to your landing page, just gives your supporters another option to consider. So another good touch point is welcome kits and email. So these are a really good way to just provide a little bit of a perk, I guess, or a benefit to new donors. Or, if you've got intenders or considerers in the gifts and will pipeline, and just, again, educating them that, that this is another way that they can potentially leave a gift in their will. So, the other thing is that you really don't have to frame online wills primarily as a method of just leaving a gift to your organisation. But online wills are also a really great way of thanking your supporters with something tangible and useful. And so giving your supporters the gift of a free will is, to thank them as the primary motivation. And then in that process, giving them the option to leave a gift, and that's, via the platform, is a very gentle ask and a really great approach. So you can really make the ask on whatever context that you're doing or whatever activity that you're doing, as soft or as direct as you like, and really change it up depending on the context. And this can all be reflected on your landing page. So then we've got leaving or lapsing donors. So we've done webinars on this before with F&P. Like, this is such a really great audience for online wills and for gifts and wills in general. We all know that at the moment, money's tight for a lot of people, and sadly charity donations are down because sometimes these are the first to go, unfortunately, and no one wants to stop supporting their charity, but sometimes they have to. So, and including information about a free online will in any sort of offboarding communications, it gives those people an opportunity to keep supporting, your organisation without incurring any financial cost during their lifetime. And they can potentially make a really big gift that they probably would never be able to afford in their lifetime. Like, they might decide to leave a 20% residual gift, and so powerful for them. And it just keeps them close, even if they can't, support the way they used to at the moment. So tax time. So this is another really great time to sort of introduce the concept or remind people about online wills. And I think it's, this is the time of year that people do consider their, getting their affairs in order as well while they're doing all their tax. And they're trying to get on top of their life admin and personal finances. And a free online will ties in with that really nicely. And so, obviously, tax appeals and end of year appeals are super important for organisations, and we don't want to muddy the waters with another ask. But what lots of our partners have done is, offer that free online will as a thank you as part of the receipting process. So, this is after the donors have left a gift. So you're not kind of muddying the waters before they've left a gift. They've left the gift, they get their usual, mailed out receipt or emailed receipt and thank you and lovely thank you. And it might just be an extra paragraph added to the receipt letter, offering them another way to thank them for their gift. And as I said before, it can really be the primary motivation is to thank them. But obviously, if they do decide to write a will, they will get to that part of the estate section where your charity will be pinned to the top, and hopefully they'll go, yes, why wouldn't I leave a gift? Absolutely. And then even if you're doing, mailed out letters, you could mailed out receipts, you could put in a postcard or something like that, a printed postcard with a QR code on it, as a thank you as well. And so newsletters, so, really good to include some, regular, messaging about online wills in newsletters. So it could be, I know it can be quite hard to get newsletter space, but it could be an announcement saying that you're partnering with an online will provider, and here's a link to the free online will. It could be a donor story of someone who's written a will online and has found it really easy, and why they've done that, and why it's important that they want to leave a legacy to your organisation. I could even just, if it's an e-newsletter, it could just be a banner, showing with a call to action on it. So again, it's just about getting your supporters used to the idea of online wills. And so then when you do your big campaign at, dedicated email to everyone, they'll hopefully be, familiar with it and the concept, and not hesitate in acting. Okay. Yep, and so these are those the postcards I talked about. So yes, they can be used in welcome packs and receipt letters. They can be popped into hard copy newsletters that are going out already. Used at events in goodie bags. If you've got, you sell merchandise, popping them in with a merchandise sale. If you've got charity stores, putting it in the bag with a charity. There's so many different uses for these. And our premium partners get these designed for them as well, free of charge. But they're, even our basic partners, you guys can develop your own, and we can just send you some examples. But yeah, they're such a great thing and very versatile. And then we've got these email signatures. So again, we've seen lots of our partners use these, all year round for the gifts in will team. But then, over major campaign periods, such as, Wills Month or Include a Charity Week, getting your whole team, ideally, to pop a banner on to their email signature with a link that goes straight to your landing page. Is just another great way of getting the message out there to an even broader audience. And again, we design those for our premium partners free of charge. So if any premium partners out there would like that, just get in touch with your partner success manager and we'll be happy to do that for you. And then social media. So of course, always a good idea to do some posting throughout the year, offering free online wills, just reinforcing that message that they may have seen in another another channel or context, and hopefully prompts them to take action. So these are just a few of the touch points. I'm sure if you might even be thinking of some other touch points that are specific to your organisation and ways that you can kind of leverage existing activities. And I encourage you to continue thinking about that, and just remembering that you're offering something of value. Your supporters are going to think this is a great thing if they need a will, which many of them will. So it's not it's not a hard ask. It's something valuable that they'll really appreciate. So, you can be really creative about how you let them know that, that it's available to them. All right, so now we're going to talk about some of the tools and features that are available to you now as part of your memberships. So some of these are going to be specifically for premium, but the basic, our premium partners, but the basic partners will also get a limited or a reduced version of these. So first of all, we have so we call the dashboard, by the way, the Gift In-Wheel Management Platform, or the GMP. So I'm just going to call it the GMP because the Gift In-Wheel Management Platform is a mouthful. So in the GMP, we have a whole lot of analytics, which gives you a really broad overview of your digital Gifts In-Wheel program. So this was designed with input from an advisory panel of charities. So it's really fit for purpose, and you can see a whole bunch of information in there, including donor details, demographics, trends in giving, channel performance, types of gifts, average gifts, all of that stuff, all of that good stuff. So it houses like a lot of data, which can bring real clarity to your Gifts In-Wheel program. So the campaigns feature is a really great one. Again, this is a premium feature. With campaigns, you can create unique tracking links for every different touch point or outreach activity that you're doing, so that you can see how they're performing. And ideally, we want to know exactly where every single gift has come from, which channel it's come from. So you can see, for example, how many gifts your website listing has generated, or your social media post, your email, your first email compared to your third email. And, it's really important that you do, go in and create that campaign link. And then you can also test the link in the GMP as well, in case, your email platform adds its own tracking code on there as well, which is okay, but you just need to check to make sure that it's all working properly. And yeah, just so that when you send the email around, we just make sure it's correct and it's going to go to the right place. And then you can also create custom reports for all of these different activities. And so, there's some really detailed data in there, which helps with, key learnings for your future activities. And then we've got, the GMP stores the donor information. So when they choose to share their information, some will, remain anonymous. And, I think across the board, it's about 50% choose to remain anonymous. And this is overseas as well. So it's, that's kind of the benchmark at the moment. But if they do decide to share their details, you can start stewarding them straight away. And keeping these people close to your organisation. And you might even find that these online will donors, especially if they're younger, they may decide to start giving during their lifetime, by becoming regular givers, for example. So such a great way to be able to have visibility. Sorry, it's so good to be able to have visibility on who these people are. And then being able to look at all this data has a really great knock-on effect, because you can, make strategic database decisions. And then armed with this data, you can then have a stronger case to get your organisation's buy-in at a higher level, especially for our basic partners. A lot of our basic partners, will have to dip their toe in the water, do some small campaigns just to see how it resonates with their supporters. Once they get some gifts in, then they can kind of prove that that it works, and that helps, to secure some investment to potentially upgrade to premium. So the data collected also allows you to identify and further engage high gift segments. And I think we're almost at the end, guys. Some case studies. I'm just going to whiz through these ones. So let's look first at Edgar's mission. So Edgar's Mission is a small sanctuary in regional Victoria. They ran a two-part email series last year and saw absolutely amazing results with a total of 10 gifts worth 1.3 million. This email went out to supporters with email addresses, so it was super easy to execute because they also opted for a one-size-fits-all communication. This one here, MS Plus, really interesting approach from them where they decided to investigate how different audience segments responded to the online will message. So they contacted event participants, carers of people living with MS, and volunteers, and again had a really great response. And they saw 38 gifts pledged across those two subgroups. Final slide. In terms of website listings, even though this is a passive channel, we have actually seen charities have some really great response to even just scrolling through charities gifts and will page. And it really is like a 5-minute job to add a paragraph and a link to your gift in will page. And yeah, just watch the gifts come in, which is great. So yeah, it doesn't take weeks of your time or anything like that. It's really super fast, and really cost effective, cheap and easy ways to grow your program. All right. That is it for me. Well, not it for me. That's it for the presentation. I guess we're open to questions now. Let's have a look. Just looking at the Q&A. Adam, are there any questions that haven't been responded to? Oh, yeah, here we go. Helena, hi Lucy, when it says wills, then gifts and values, sometimes wills and gifts don't equal. What does gift mean in that context? Sometimes wills and gifts. Oh, I think what you mean there is that in the dashboard, sometimes it will say, there's been 10 in the previous slide. Okay, thank you. You go back. Accounts. Oh, yep, gifts and value. Okay, so let me explain these metrics. So this is what you can view in the GMP. So from that email, those two emails, there was 77 people clicked on the link from the email to go to the Wills platform, the branded Wills platform. Of those 77 people, 11 created accounts with Gathered Here, presumably with the intention of writing a will at some point. So they do create an account, and that is so that they can come back in the future and update their will anytime. So 11 of those people created accounts. Of those 11, 6 people completed their will. And of those 6 people, 5 left gifts. So that's a pretty high conversion rate. So five out of 6 people who completed their wills decided to leave gifts, which is at 84% conversion rate. And then here you've got 23 accounts created, 11 wills completed, 10 gifts left. Again, incredibly high conversion rate. Does that answer your question? I hope so. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm just seeing here. I know that. Oh, okay. Hang on. What do we see? We'll see. There's a whole bunch of questions here. I'm just wondering whether we keep going with those. Hang on. I'll see. Okay, this is Shesh. Okay, hi Lucy. Have you noticed any successful email campaigns to capture a younger demographic, 30 to 45-year-olds, or even any will making patterns that has come up you are able to share. So with the younger audience, it would be this very similar messaging that you would send to, and yeah, definitely via email. You know, the younger audience are they're all online. So it would be very similar messaging that you'd send to an older audience about the importance of having a will. And because I think, again, a lot of younger people think that they don't need a will because they're young. But you know, now that it's so easy to have a free online will, it's about letting them know that they do need a will still. They might have a pet that they want to make sure is looked after if something were to happen to them. I'm sure they will have a car or something. You know, people have always got something that they want to, you know, even in our wills, they can specify their funeral wishes, you know, and so yes, I think it's just about trying to encourage younger people to think about, you know, estate planning so it becomes a normal thing, and then just giving them that free will option. Do individuals consent to sharing their gift and will information with the charity, and how does that work? So, as part of the will writing process, there's a section called the thank you section, where will writers can opt in or opt out to be contacted by the charity. So obviously, it's pre-filled opted in, so they have to just click like it's pre-filled yes. They just have to, you know, click no if they don't want to be contacted. Like I said before, it's around a 50% opt out rate. And then if they decide not to share their details, if the charity is a premium partner, they'll still get as much information as we can give about that gift, just not their any identifying information. So they'll still know the age bracket, the state that they're from, the type of gift, the amount, that kind of thing. For featured listing, what is the best category for development aid rather than humanitarian? There's an international category which might be more suitable, but I would say maybe contact your partner success manager, and I think we'll be able to help you with that, decide which is the best category for you to be in. Any more questions? Hi, Kay. Oh no, that's a response. Sorry, guys. If we haven't got permission to email the mailing list with promotional material other than our newsletter, is that a requirement before mounting a campaign? It's a good question. I imagine that. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. It probably depends whether they've specifically opted out of receiving any other communications other than newsletter, I would say, as to whether you can email them about this. One thing that I do recommend to partners is if you are going to be doing a big, broad reaching campaign, if your email platform will allow it, I would see whether you can add another unsubscribe preference, so that people, if they aren't interested in hearing about gifts and wills, they can just unsubscribe from that rather than everything. That is something that I do recommend, because some people, you know, they might already have a will, they've already left a gift, hopefully, and they just don't want to hear about it, or they prefer to remain anonymous. Yeah, because ideally you don't want to lose those supporters just because they don't want to hear about gifts and wills. Thanks, Adam. You've already sent through the security information, how to protect the data. Supporters get bombarded with emails. How best to still be able to capture attention? Is email still the best tool? Yeah, absolutely. Emails are the best. The best way to get people's attention with this specific offering is to put the words free online will in the subject heading. People love free stuff. I love free stuff too. And that will get their attention. And we, usually recommend that. And again, it's not often that organizations get to actually give something of value, tangible, of value for free. Obviously, people give to charities because they get that great feeling of doing something good. It's fantastic. But being able to offer something tangible of value for free as well. So yes, I would be putting in the subject heading, special offer for charity name supporters, free online will, or something like that. Okay, we've got 3 more minutes, so I probably have time for a couple more. I'll just scroll down to the bottom. I feel like if anyone's got any burning questions, can you add them right now? And I can quickly answer them. Okay. I think here we go. What is the average age that people write their last will? I assume you're talking about overall, not just on online wills. And I think it's in their early 80s, but I'll need to check. And I will, Cecilia, I'll come back to you. I think it's in their early 80s. Yeah, let me check that and I'll respond. All right, everyone. I think we're going to wrap it up now. So it was really great to have you all on the call today. I hope that you've got some great tools that you can take away with you. If you're already partners of ours, please reach out to your partner success manager. If you have any questions about anything, it's not too late to do a campaign in September. And if you're not already partners, you can reach out to Adam after this session. I'm sure we're going to be sending out some contact details as well. And it's really easy to sign up and get involved. So thank you so much for your time today. Bye.